We got some new blood in the electorate out there, folks, because there are people that are getting involved in politics that have never gotten involved in politics before. A lot of them are small business owners. Dan Danner knows this. He is the CEO, I believe, of the NFIB, the National Federation of Independent Businesses out there. And it's probably good news. Dan, how are you?
I'm great, Phil, and thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It is true. We've got now more small business owners that are getting involved in politics, right?
We do. We here at NFIB have, at the federal level, interviewed over 200 candidates. And interestingly, about half of them are small business owners or have direct ties to small business. And that's really very different than it has been in other cycles. In the past, we've had small business owners say, I'm too busy to run. And what they're saying today is, I think I can't afford not to run because I'm concerned about the future of my business and the future of the country.
Yeah, and we've got some folks, a lot of folks in Washington that have never run a business that are making business decisions, i.e. the president and Nancy Pelosi, some of these other folks, Harry Reid, and these people that are in charge of business decisions or decisions that have direct impact on businesses, and they've never even run one.
No question. We talk a lot about, we'd like to see more people that have signed the front of a paycheck, not just the back.
Right.
And it really does make a difference.
Oh, it does make a difference. So with all these people that are getting involved, is that going to make a difference as far as the makeup of Congress come November 3rd after these elections?
We think it absolutely will, Phil. We're convinced that there will be many more small business people and people who understand small business elected. And they will bring common sense to Washington, in our opinion, things like what it means to balance a budget. If you're a small business owner and you spend out less than you take in every year, you're not in business very long.
Right.
They get that. So we think it'll make a big difference here in Washington.
So who are some of these names out there? Some of the people, and I guess you guys do endorsements, correct?
We absolutely do.
Who are some of the folks you've endorsed that are small business friendly?
We've endorsed, and I don't have the whole list in front of me, but we've endorsed, because we've endorsed over 200 candidates in the House and probably 20-some in the Senate.
Right.
So,
did you endorse Sharon Angle by any chance?
We did.
Oh, good. Against Harry Reid. That's shaping up to be a very, very interesting race. And, Harry Reid, of course, claims he made all his big money 2 years as a lawyer. I don't see how that happens. I mean, the guy's got all sorts of great deals and land deals and everything else that went down once he was actually in the Senate and in Congress. So, I mean, we got people out actually that are going up there and they're going in, okay financially. They're coming out the other end multimillionaires, and this is the kind of business that needs to stop. I mean, we need people up there that are going up there for the right reasons, not to feather their own nest.
Oh, absolutely. And that if we're going to turn around the situation we're in of high unemployment, of high debt, we do need more and more people here that are common sense people. And I'm very hopeful. We're very hopeful that that's going to happen.
Now, I hear this all the time. We're talking with Dan Danner from the NFIB. I hear this all the time, Dan, that a lot of business people, even heard this from Steve Wynn and others, that the reason business isn't getting back to business or getting back to normal is because a lot of businesses are afraid of what's going to come out of Washington. They don't know. They're hesitant to invest in more equipment or in more product or whatever it is they do because of the uncertainty that's coming out of Washington, D.C. as far as what they're going to do as far as regulation or taxes and even the health care bill. We've now got some companies, because of the regulations that even kick in 2018, that are now looking at streamlining things because they're going to have to pay taxes on the so-called Cadillac plan. So they're already looking at scaling some of that stuff back, which puts them at a competitive disadvantage. So we're really in a holding pattern in this country, trying to figure out what's going on with the government, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that Congress did as a for instance before they went home, they left Washington for one of the first times ever without passing a budget.
Right.
So they temporarily funded the budget until they come back. And they left this enormous amount of tax issues unresolved. Are your rates going to go up? The estate taxes, the alternative minimum tax? In our opinion, it was irresponsible for Congress to leave town and not address all of these tax issues and fund the federal government.
You know, it's funny because the estate tax thing, I just went to see Secretariat. I don't know whether you've seen that, which is based on a true story. And the true story is that this woman and her brother actually inherited their father's horse farm, and she took a chance, of course, on what we now know as Secretariat, but they didn't know what was going to happen. I remember one scene, the guys coming in and said, look, with the inheritance tax, we got to pay half of what this estate is worth in taxes to the government, so we've got to sell this place. And this is happening all over the place. Small businesses are coming up, and see, that wasn't even a profitable business at the time, but she took the chance on this horse. But before then, it was another family farm that's going to have to be sold, or another small business that can't be handed down to the heirs. It's going to have to be sold because of the taxes. We need to completely eliminate the inheritance tax, do we not?
We could not agree more. We've been involved here in Washington as an organization probably for at least 15 years, chairing something called the Family Business Estate Tax Coalition, trying to eliminate the estate tax. And now we're in a situation where if Congress doesn't do something in the short time when they come back, on January 1, it'll be 55% again.
It's unbelievable.
And we think that's just wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you've got business owners that have paid taxes their entire lives. The businesses paid business taxes, corporate taxes. They paid personal income taxes. The taxes have already been wrung out of that business, and then they get them at 55% from the grave.
Yep. And all of the above, the alternative minimum tax, tax rates, unless something's done, everyone's individual tax rates are going up, and that for small businesses who pay individual rates, who are S corps or sole proprietorships, that makes a big difference because that's money that you don't have to invest in your business and create jobs.
Yeah. Well, it's time we got some people in there in Congress who understand that, and you folks making endorsements. You've endorsed nearly 30 of your own members in the congressional races. What's the website out there, Dan, if people want to go and see who you've endorsed?
They can start with NFIB.com, and then there's a political tab on that, and it'll have all our endorsements and lots of other information about individual races and about information on individual candidates.
Interesting. All right, Dan, appreciate it very much. Dan Danner of the NFIB, the small business folks out there, we appreciate your vigilance on this and appreciate your involvement, and thanks for the time.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Dan.